This is the Excellent Sports Adventure, brought to you by Lycom.
Well, it's a clear indication that the Leafs are all in, and I love it. Now, they picked up an important experience piece for their upcoming playoff run. Ryan O'Reilly, a veteran center who led the Blues to the only Stanley Cup in franchise history, winning a Selke Trophy and Conn Smythe along the way. The good news is they only have to pay 1/4 of his salary. Yes, they had to give up some picks, but that'll be a late first rounder, a second, third, fourth rounder. Who cares? For Ryan O'Reilly and throw in Noel Acciari, yes, doing that every time. So, in Riley's first game, the hometown Leafs, he gives to Kelly Yarncroc. Nice setup for Michael Bunting for the one-timer. Bunting had a pair. O'Reilly's first point is the Leaf as they handle the Habs 5-1. Now, next night.
My parents both grew up in Toronto. My wife's from here. Obviously a lot of ties to here. Always thought about it, but never really, thought it would actually happen. So it's still kind of shocked that I'm actually playing here and such. But again, to have my boys too, that their age are kind of starting to understand hockey. It's so cool to be able to share it with them. And wish they were here, but I know they're excited to come here.
What's it like to come to a team that has, designed on winning the Stanley Cup and got you for that reason?
Yeah, you could tell just the energy in the room and in between periods, the way guys are, and the focus and the detail they put in. You just tell it's they're trying to win, and it's something to be for myself. It's fun to be a part of. Just that mindset, and you can see it's just a collective group, and obviously there's tons of work that has to happen still, but it's just rejuvenating to kind of just be around that kind of energy and such.
Next night in Chicago, Alex Kerfoot centers. David Kampf with a chance, finished by Noel Acciari, the other new Leaf. They came back to tie it, but Patrick Kane and the Blackhawks pulled out a 5-3 win. Now, the Oilers let a couple of good leads slip away in Denver after the big blast by Matthias Janmark. The Oil led by a pair, but the Avs rallied to win in overtime, and they blew a three-goal lead a couple nights earlier against the Rangers. That hurts. Now, the Flames, they picked up a big win over the Rangers. A power play in overtime. Jonathan Huberdeau turns fires, tipped by Marcus Backlund. The Flames slipped past the Rangers 3-2, but they dropped the 4-3 decision to the Flyers next time out. The Jets beat the Rangers. They're just a point out of first in the Central Division. Toronto 6, home to the Connecticut Whale. Michaela Cava leads the rush for the 6. She's going to drop for Cheyenne Darkangelo. The captain buries the wrister. The 6 came the Whale 5-3, but they lost the following day. Still a solid second overall in the PHF standings, and they're at Minnesota this week. Well, clearly, the Raptors are not interested in going into the tank for a draft pick. Jakob Poeltl, the big Austrian who was originally drafted by the Raptors and reacquired at the trade deadline, is quickly proving his worth. The 7'1" center became only the second player in history to have 30 or more points without a free throw or a three-pointer, as the Raps rolled into the All-Star break with a win over the Magic. Now, Poeltl gives the Raps that big option inside that they've been sorely lacking.
It's about learning the basics at first. Just trying to memorize all the plays, memorize all the calls on offense and on defense. And then, once you get that down, you got to do this stuff in game speed and react to it just in time, get the timings down, get all the chemistry down. And I think, stuff like that takes time, obviously, with guys like Freddie. Fred's a veteran in this league, and I've played with him before, so that stuff develops a little bit quicker. But, you learn each other's strengths, and you know when to hit your teammates in what spots and where they're comfortable getting the ball and where not.
That's a pretty good, well-balanced team right now. Now, the Argos have solidified a key piece on offense, signing runner back A.J. Ouellette to a 3-year contract. The 27-year-old from Covington, Ohio, played 13 games for the Argos in 2022. He ran 58 times for 516 yards and a couple of touchdowns. He was named an East All-Star and was a key figure in that Grey Cup win by the Argos. The Toronto Rock are absolutely on fire. They made it a home-and-home sweep of the Georgia Swarm on Alumni Night at First Ontario Centre, members of their 2011 championship team on hand. Current rock star Tom Schreiber is going to rip home his second of 4 goals right here as they pull away early. Zach Mans gets to Corey Small in the high slot. Small fires. He had 3 goals, 6 helpers. A fun night in Hamilton as the Rock ring up their 7th straight win, 16-7 over the Swarm. They are tied for the league lead at 8-2. Here's head coach Matt Sawyer.
We talked about it before the game. Our last probably 3 games, right? We just found ways to win, which is good, and you hear that all the time. You got to learn how to win different ways. But the reality of this league is, at some point, it's going to be a one and done, right? So you need to try to be at your best night in and night out, and that was a challenge here tonight. We sure were in the second half. Took us a while to get going, though.
A Canadian topped the podium at the World Alpine Championships in France. Laurent Saint-Germain pulled off a stunning upset in the women's slalom. The 28-year-old from Quebec edged out heavily favored American Michaela Schifrin to capture the title. Saint-Germain becomes the first Canadian to win a women's slalom title since Anne Hagtveit struck gold at the 1960 Winter Olympics.
Well, Tommy Fury against Jake Paul. 2 guys who haven't really accomplished that much in the ring, but 2 guys that certainly know how to sell themselves. Now, the event billed as The Truth. Now, the truth is, I'm going to watch. And so are you, and so are millions of others. This fight is going to have massive numbers. The good news is, it's bringing attention to the sport of boxing. So let's break this down, shall we? Now, Fury has an 8-0 record, but look at the guys he fought. One guy was 10-1, but the combined record of the 8 guys he has fought, and I'm not kidding, is 24 wins, 176 losses, and 5 draws. The one thing that Fury's opponents had in common is they had a pulse, allegedly, anyway. Now, Paul is 6-0, and most guys were making their pro debuts, so you're not facing anybody who's been around the block, although Tyron Woodley can fight. At the same time, you could say that all of Jake's opponents were undefeated. Sounds better than 24, 176, and 5. But Fury is also at least facing guys who've been in the ring before. Now, both these guys have some speed and confidence and showmanship, and they're ready to bring it. Tommy is brash like his brother, but can he back it up? One thing I would like to see Jake do is keep that chin tucked in a little bit more. He has a tendency to lift it up, and that could be a problem. But Jake does have the edge and power. 4 knockouts. Now, Tommy can't leave that left jab out there like his brother does. He has to snap it back, pop it back quick, and be ready to throw punches with either hand. So, either way, both these guys have massive cojones, and they'll both be set for life after this fight. It's going to come down to who really wants this. And who lands the big bomb first? Well, so who wins? If Jake lands that right hand, it could end early. There's something about that gypsy blood, however, and training with a world champion brother that makes me think that Tommy Fury gets it done by decision. But the best scenario might be a draw. Then we can do it all over again and make even more money.
There you go. Now, here's our shot of the week.
God damn it.
4!
Well, that could be too hot. Unless it just hits it. Oh my God.
Just about hold that, Dina from Missouri.
Today's environmental tip: plant a tree. Trees produce oxygen and improve air quality. Trees take in carbon dioxide and store harmful carbon. Trees prevent soil erosion and help lessen flooding. Trees lower temperature by providing shade and cooling water evaporation. Rycom, passionate people who turn complicated business problems into simplified technology solutions for public and private sector real estate, properties, portfolios, and enterprise customers. Optimize and future-proof smart buildings from the ground up. The latest in fault locating, base building network design, managed services, cybersecurity, data analytics. Our fault detection will support all smart strategies, define projected outcomes for capital planning, and reduce environmental impact. Rycom, smart protection solutions. At Rycom, we're building a path to a smart and environmentally friendly future.